Yeah, just did.
Okay, well, welcome everyone to our Trail of Cthulhu Eternal Lies campaign. I'm Kevin. I'm the GM, and to one of these directions, I'm going to get to that one. Is the players. Players, why don't you go down the line in stream order. Introduce your bad selves. It's going to be.
Well, the question is it in portrait stream order or caption stream order? Because those are different.
No, I just fixed it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I think it was Nick. Yeah, when you joined Roll20, everything got scrambled. We're all good now. It's going to be Andrew, Nick, Aaron, and then Kim.
Cool.
So I'm Andrew. I'm playing Harvey Cohen, the former government scientist who's now sort of a mercenary researcher for hire, looking to scrape together funds to continue his work. Camera's a little high.
Hello. Thank you to all you lovely people for joining. I am Nick, and I will be playing the apparently heavily featured tonight Kitty Kennedy.
And I'm Aaron, and I'll be playing Fritz Drechner as the antiquarian from Berlin, who doesn't speak any Spanish, and so has been struggling a bit in Mexico City.
All right. So that's a good point. Before we launch into things, I want to remind you guys, before we started in Mexico, you got some points to spend, like build points.
Oh yes.
So if you didn't spend all your build points, and you wanted to put one of them in languages and pick up Spanish.
Spontaneously learn Spanish.
Well, with only one session left, I don't know about that.
Well, you may be getting more points after
contrived.
Mexico City.
How many points did we get?
I didn't spend any of my kitty points. I will gladly back up my theory that she was in a Spanish play at one point by putting one of my points in.
A telenovela.
Yeah, exactly.
So I forget exactly. I think you got 4 points.
Okay.
But you could give up 2 of them to get 3 general points instead. So like 4 investigative points. But you can sack two investigative points to get 3 general ability points back instead.
So right? 4, 2, and 3.
Well, yeah, or you could sack all 4 for 6, I guess.
Okay.
So investigative are any technical, interpersonal, or academic?
Yep. Anything that's not general.
All right.
Yep. All right. Well,
so we do have one more player.
Myself, or
oh well. All right. I guess
Yes.
last.
just
last.
I guess I'm just here to drive the car and the plane. Maybe who knows? I don't know Spanish either. Poor Gus. Poor Gus is
Your
just.
apparent father's name was Echevarria.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
Or maybe your name was Echevarria.
You may continue.
No. I think we should spend more time on this.
So, was that your intro or?
Yeah, Gus, pilot. My name is Kim. Let's
His
go.
intro was poor Gus.
All right. Okay. Fine. So, as you guys remember, of course, you are in Mexico City. You spent last session infiltrating an apartment building in a variety of ways. There was all manner of hilariousness ensued. You got a lot of information.
But the important thing is the plan came off.
It wasn't a plan.
I disagree.
Yeah, I guess you guys are lucky that the myriad of plans, both planned and spontaneous, which I'm not sure is actually a plan, came together at a certain point.
It was like a Dave Barry novel.
Yeah. But the point was, we can do a recap. But you guys got a lot of information right at the end of the last session. Mm-hmm. You got a big dump of documents, a lot of revelations. So, somebody want to maybe talk us through some of that, because get it fresh in our minds.
I'm not sure we're going to know it without our note taker, Damon Smoke.
Well, you're going to have to.
That's not going to be a problem, because almost all of it was just like stuff, right? So we got stuff. Most
Several
of which
letters.
Fractures in the great cultic edifice of mouths and dripping. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff here. I think we're going out to the jungle. That's the takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like
Merida, was that the
this
name of the
guy,
city?
Yeah, that one.
John.
And why don't we recap that guy? That was his assistant named Diego. Was that his name? Or
I think it's Dominguez.
Dominguez.
Probably the one
Dominguez.
you're looking for.
There it is. So that is the guy pictured in this photograph,
Oh no, more porn.
Dominguez.
Well, so that's one of the clues you got.
Yeah.
One of them definitely points out to Dominguez.
There's also several letters, longer and shorter.
So why don't you guys talk? You don't have to talk to me. I know what they should be, but if you guys have any leads that you wanna put on the menu, why don't we talk through some of that to give this some structure?
Oh, that's
All
right.
right.
I'm sorry. There was one other lead, Kokruck Island, but I wasn't too solid on
Okay.
where the thread was there. Does anyone remember?
That's what Saigon,
Saigon. Okay.
I think.
That's
That's
right. There was another location.
But it seems like the more immediate clue or lead is to go try to follow this expedition and out onto the Yucatan, right?
Yeah, I think we've got basically two leads for the short term. One is that out in the Meridian, the Yucatan Peninsula, Merida, and the other is the Russians, who we still haven't actually confronted here. So we can just decide that they're muscle and they don't matter at all. But we do have the note from them mentioning that the guy we met in the record studio is hanging out there and asking whether they should rough him up. So those guys are still hanging out, and we can either do our thing and try to get some information from them, or we can just kind of toss them aside and head out to the jungle.
Right. I think Merida should be our next stop, honestly. I don't feel too comfortable just putting our cards on the table and confronting these thugs. We're certainly not armed very well.
Merida is not like close by. Merida is like a trip.
That's a flight.
Yeah, well, it's either that or Saigon, right? I mean,
Well, good thing we have a pilot.
That's right. Not as useless as you thought.
and so we found another letter to Samson from what's his name, John Rogers,
Jonathan Brooks.
John Brooks. It was this one, but it
Sure,
wasn't. It wasn't finished. It looks like it was spilled. It's not signed. It was never sent, I'm assuming. So, do we know what happened to him? Why he didn't finish the letter?
Yeah, he died while he was writing it. It's the castle of.
Right. Well, that's what I'm wondering. So I don't know.
Okay.
Do we know what happened to John Brooks? Is he dead?
I believe we're in his apartment, or no?
Yeah,
are we
Yeah.
inside?
You guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're in his apartment. We don't know what happened.
to
Right.
bring it in,
We haven't seen
you guys are
Light
in
streams through those doors.
You've been here for a little while.
Mhm.
Remember, you sort of. So I don't know how much we need to recap last session, but the majority of the session was you guys breaking into this apartment, and now you're inside. You maybe broke a few eggs on the way in. What you hear now, it's a clean apartment, kind of curiously clean. You notice that the kitchen, the only things in the kitchen are an ice box and a stove and a blender. Right? There's no utensils, there's no plates, nothing like that.
There was one
there's-
plate. It had moldy bread on it.
Oh, there is a loaf of bread. That's right. You're right. There's a desk. The desk is nice. It has all sorts of papers. Looks like someone's been working here. There's not a lot of art on the walls. There was the whatchamacallit?
Something
Pigeon.
just happened to the stream.
Coops. Lots of
It's
coops.
clearly a bachelor pad.
Oh shit.
There was lots of bird coops. Wait, what just happened?
Oh, my bad. I fucked up the stream. I was looking up something because I just took a point of forensics, so I was looking up if there was a way I could tell it's been cleaned like Fox style from Pulp Fiction. But I ruined everything, so 10
There,
points
just
off.
the picture too, so it's in the middle.
Yeah. I didn't know you changed it.
Okay. So I'll try to call it if I change scene. But so you guys are going through it, and Kitty, you start to notice something is a bit strange about the layout of this of this apartment.
How so?
I noticed that you're trained in architecture.
Okay, yeah, well, I thought that's where you're going. I just thought maybe there was more of a... Yeah, so Kitty's, like, standing in the corner, and she's pulling one of those, Sherlock Holmes types, really eyeing up stuff. You guys notice her, like, shuffling along the walls, sort of, like, just looking real suspicious. And
Actually walking on the wall. It's
just
extremely
sideways. Like, you're not sure how she's doing it, but clearly it's important. And I would like to spend a point of architecture to see what she notices.
Yeah, no, you don't need to spend a point. That's fine.
Okay.
What you notice is that this is a penthouse, right? And you don't remember seeing a chimney from the outside. However, there is, if you were to take the layout in aggregate, there's some space that is unaccounted for.
Okay. Like
the inside's smaller than the outside.
Kind of space, or
What's that?
a fireplace size kind of space?
A little bit bigger, maybe like 6 by 6 or something like that.
So like a closet
Not
that
huge.
was almost walled off.
Kitty remarks, something about this reminds me about the hidden office that we saw on the blueprints of Tremel's house. And it strikes me that it wouldn't be too coincidental for us to find 2 such hidden compartments during this investigation.
Huh.
Well then, why don't
do you
we
mean?
tap around at the vaults and see if we can find something that doesn't sound quite right?
Yeah,
Where
Kitty.
would the hidden space be?
Right.
So I
off the
point
study-
out the corner where...
Yeah, somewhere between the study and the living room, there seems to be a space that is unaccounted for. So so you guys tap around for a moment. It doesn't take long.
Parsifals.
You find that the light switch on the wall is loose, and if you take it off, there is an electric switch behind it, and you flip it, and you hear a click, and a piece of the wall kind of like pops forward.
I break out my sledgehammer to go through the wall. I don't like this. This is not ideal.
This is the way that they figured you would come.
Kitty,
Surprise.
having like gingerly reached out to sort of pry that apart, quickly rips her hand to the side as the sledgehammer comes slicing towards her delicate fingers.
I like that I climbed up the side of the building with the sledgehammer. That's my favorite part of this so far.
I mean, I'm impressed.
All right,
For a
so
70-year-old, I'm pretty spry, eh?
So we like gingerly pull this to see if the wall will either slide or just fly outwards.
yeah, no, so it swings out. What you see behind it is a small room, like I said, 5 by 5-ish, and the room is dominated by what appears to be an altar. Flip over here.
How many mouths?
Kitty says, "Aha! I told you. There's something here."
Fritz hits it with a sledgehammer.
Well done.
All right, the altar is no more. Yeah, all right. I guess Kitty will step inside for sure. And she, finding the situation to be a little bit perhaps strange, she lowers her voice and she turns and she says, Dr. Drechner, what do you make of this?
Yeah. Let me use. Can I use a point in archaeology or?
So wait, does it seem like this room was specifically created for this, or is it just like empty space between the walls that's been turned into like a hidden altar space?
So it's more or less a finished room. You're not sure. So clearly like some work has been done here, right? It's not just like an empty space with like a. I mean, yeah. Somebody built this clearly.
So I have archaeology, theology, and history. Would any of those help us?
Yeah. Okay, so
Which one do you want me to use?
well, so hold on a second here. So let me break this altar down a little bit. So it's a marble altar. There's some like rotted flowers on the top. There are a number of items on the altar itself. So let me here. I got a little picture of that. A number of them. Do you have a cult?
Yes.
Okay, well, just from having the skill, you can tell that a number of these items are basically ridiculous. There's a pentagram, there's like a raven's feather, there's some other bullshit. And that these things are like, like I said, they're bullshit. Some of them are sort of maybe not bullshit. And then some of them, you can tell that like the person who used this was also into the worship of something that had a little more weight to it.
So when you say that it's bullshit, you mean like it's just like some person walked into like the voodoo shop on
Yeah.
the street and like picked up a whole bunch of culty looking things.
Yeah, so there's a range of things. There's like my pentagram, right? And then there's like, my wax candles, and then there's like, the Book of 1,000 Mouths or whatever, right? Like there's
actually like Eye of Newt.
Yeah, there's some right, cliche kind of stuff.
Okay. Can I determine what religion this seems to be associated with, especially the parts that are more real, not the bullshitty fake voodoo parts or whatever?
Okay, so you're using what, anthropology or so you can use a cult to determine the source of the things that are real. The more like the bullshit is just that it's got no.
Yeah, no, I'll use a point in a cult.
Sure. So you can tell that some of the items are from the worship of Nyarlathotep, but those things are pushed to the side. They're almost exclusively like on the floor or off on the side of the altar. The rest of the items seem to be of worshiping something else that you're not quite sure of. It seems to have several different names and personas.
Well, we know what it is based on his letters, right? We know that
Sure.
Nyarlathotep was the black man created by Samson. Was that it? To trick people? Okay. Golgoroth is the. Let me.
No, I think you're confused.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was looking at the long. I think Gox.
I mean,
There's a
we're
little bit
definitely
of something going on
confused.
here.
I understand perfectly what's going on, Kevin.
Okay.
Some bullshit.
That's right.
But so also just to, well, you can look that up. That's fine. But there is also a mural scrawled above the altar.
I thought there was a picture. Yeah, I was going to ask about that. If relevant, I would like to use a point in art history to see what I can find out about that mural.
Okay, sure. Well, let me show it to you.
Awesome. Oh, never mind. I figured it all out.
The jaws of the mouth bloody themselves between the mountain of something.
Right.
El Orader. So unfortunately, although I do speak more Spanish than Fritz, I'm not quite all the way.
So Harvey, you can translate that as saying, where is it? Just lost it. The maw of the mouth lies within the devouring mountain.
Okay.
I mean, isn't that what the picture clearly shows? We don't need a caption for that.
What about these symbols here?
Sure. So you
Yellow
had wanted to
things.
use
Art history.
yes.
Those
Art history is not going to do it, but you
Art
had wanted to
history's
use
not going to do it.
archaeology, Fritz. Is that right?
those look like Mesoamerican symbols.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So those are
Inca?
Aztec. So they're mostly Aztec and Mayan with a little bit of modern. I don't know how to say this. Nahuatl.
Sure.
What is it?
So does
Right, so,
this does this point us at all towards where they might be in the Yucatan Peninsula? Maybe this is what they've tried to go and find.
I think that's not a bad idea, given that it's in Spanish and it has. Aztec is not exactly right for Yucatan, but Maya would be. So it's possible that that if we use, it's possible that some of them are designed to throw us off the course. If we use the Mayan runes, that might give us a better idea of where this is supposed to be. There may also be a way to find the Devouring Mountain. That may actually be the name of a mountain. but yes, I would suspect that we might even be able to speak to someone in the area, a professor of Mesoamerican history and archaeology, who might be able to give us more information about such a thing.
Cool. Hey, hello to Encounter Roleplay. Thanks for joining us. You were using archaeology there, Fritz. You can translate those runes roughly. They're pictograms, obviously, but they correspond to mountain, mouth, moon, rain, and earthquake.
Wait, say again?
Mountain, mouth, moon, rain, earthquake.
Yeah.
So pretty much bad things happen around that mouth.
Yeah.
So, Kevin, real quick, I was reading through the the letter we found in that office, in the office we're in. It says, the lie of the black man. You name Nyarlathotep and pretend you have revealed the great truth. All you revealed is your falsehood. But he says you cloak the glory of Golgoroth. Isn't Golgoroth who he truly believes deserves worship? Is that?
You should keep reading. There's some more there, I think.
All right, fair enough.
I can elucidate it if you guys.
That's right. Gloxamal. That's right. That was the one.
Right.
The
So
other
there's
one.
a few different characters involved who may be the target of the cult's worship.
Right. So the last line is, but for the viewers, but now I've found my own path to Golxumal. Yes, Samson, that's right. I have learned the secret name of the Maw, and I have learned that the path to, and then the letter cuts off. But.
Right.
So maybe he believes that he found the location. Either way, he needs to, I don't know, summon some beast from beyond. And that's what they've gone to do. Perhaps we need to hurry. We need to stop this. We wouldn't want another occurrence like the one in L.A. in that dark basement or underground layer, shall I say?
Yes, I think avoiding that would be best. Or blowing things up.
Also, you find a few pieces of paper on the altar. I forgot. So you guys can go ahead and open number 6B.
6B.
DF6B.
Yep.
Someday I'll find it, don't worry.
So while they're opening, I'll just give a little word to those just joining us. Our fearless investigators here are in Mexico City, investigating the arm of an arm of the cult that they first encountered in Los Angeles, and they're tracking down that cult's leader in Mexico City.
So it seems like there's some kind of band like poster. Música de la Luz.
Mm-hmm.
With skeletons. And then some kind of letter written in bizarre script.
Danish, perhaps.
Perhaps. Not quite so bizarre. But perhaps with some kind of code or
Hieroglyphics.
legend on the back.
So
not a complete legend.
No. But this music poster is certainly putting a few pieces together.
So, well, it would probably take some time to decode this.
yeah, it's a lengthy decoding process if that's what you want to do. I mean, somebody can have at it, but I don't think everybody should.
Kevin, real quick.
Yeah.
This letter from Sancho Dominguez. What is? It says December 16th, 1934. What was the correct date supposed to be?
It should be October 5th. About.
Okay, I got it. And now it's mid-November, right?
It's the beginning of
Beginning of November. Okay.
Beginning of November. Or no, I think you're right. It's about a week into November. All right, so what's Kitty doing? How's she taking all this? This is all a little weird. I'm not going to call it for a stability check because you guys have seen some shit.
We've seen some shit.
But it's still not. It's not good.
I mean, but the mural doesn't disturb Kitty exactly. It fills her with a sense of purpose, a sense of, what we're talking about. Like, okay, maybe we have some idea of where to go, what to do, how to seek those that we are seeking. And she tries to engage Dr. Drechner further on the subject. She says, Doctor, so clearly you recognize these symbols, but what could they mean? What does the moon have to do with an earthquake?
It's a good question, Kitty. Some of them could be taken to try to translate the kind of thing that we saw in Los Angeles. Certainly mountain mouth. Rain could be used to describe nectar as any kind of liquid. Earthquake, we had a split in the earth that allowed, I guess, that mouth to be there. So it's possible that that's simply trying to use a language that was never designed to discuss something like that, to convey it. Or it's possible that there's some other kind of information. It could be a warning. It could be directions. We could find that we use them to get there. I'm afraid that although we can certainly, as I said, try to ask a professor whose specialty would be more in this area, until we get there, I myself would have no better idea.
Well, but could this professor tell us what they're trying to do with the mountain?
I very much doubt that. I mean, there might be legends or stories about this mountain that would help us, but I think we should keep in mind what happened to our friend Richard, and not assume that other people are going to be willing to believe the things that we've seen. So if we go to speak to a professor, they may be able to give us information about the mountain, if it is well known, or about the symbols, but I don't think they will tell us about the cult.
Mexico City has a university. Should that be our next stop?
That perhaps might not be a bad idea.
I say, half in and half out of character. So I guess I'll ask the out of character question with my accent. I say, other players, darlings, what do you actually think was the point of that? What we saw there in the basement?
The giant beast, you mean?
Yeah. After what we've gathered,
produce the nectar to summon even worse beasts, perhaps.
Yes. Well, my sticking point is that we were told. I think it was by. I actually don't remember what his name was, but the person who we met when we were trying to find that professor who had disappeared. But maybe it wasn't him. It might have been Bookfault in the section.
Do you mean in Savannah or do you mean in LA?
No, I mean in LA. I think it was actually Bookwald in the session that I missed, but we were told that the thing that my actress friend and her dead actor lover and stuff had seen and been a part of with Echevarria was not what it seemed to be. That people thought Echevarria was trying to do one thing, and he definitely wasn't. So the sticking question for me is the same not what was going on thing what was going on in that basement, or was it the thing he actually wanted?
Right. I mean,
Kitty's confused, but doesn't like the idea of going in, sort of not knowing whether what's going on here is what you want to stop or what you want to happen, so that the real bad thing gets stopped.
I can't imagine how any of this would
be good.
Be something good, something that we want to happen.
I mean, those people down there were enjoying themselves.
Yes, but not the good of the world.
Is that where we're going with this?
It seems like this record production started recently. It doesn't seem as though this is part of some scheme, some preservation scheme. This seems like something else entirely. I don't know. I have a hard time swallowing that particular theory, personally. But maybe the professor of antiquities at Mexico City would have a better handle on things.
So you hear, as you're talking, a slight tap on the door, and at the outer door of the apartment, and someone say, "Hello."
Kitty turns around to see Fritz spidering down the fire escape.
Fritz is like above the door, wedged against the wall.
with a sledgehammer in his teeth.
Yeah. Oh man.
You see a man.
Whispers, like, what have you answered? A man lives here.
I'll put my finger over my mouth and say he's not supposed to be here. You know, like.
So is everybody inside this room? I assume the door is still open.
Senor
I think
Brooks, no
we're
hay
inside
aquí.
I think we're inside the apartment. I think we're inside. At least some of us are inside the hidden.
The secret chamber, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I didn't think you guys all went into this 5x5 room and closed the door behind you.
No, we didn't close the door.
We didn't close the door behind us. I'm just not sure if all four of us, or I don't know how many of us are actually standing there, are inside the room. It is quite small.
That's a good.
Okay, well,
guess.
so here's the question: who's outside the room?
Not
All right, let's say I took this out to his desk and started transcribing.
So started to cryptographize it. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
So you see a man in a police uniform, or actually two men. One of them they both have their guns out, and they're sort of like, "Hello, sir."
Oh, did we leave the door to the apartment open?
Yeah.
I say, hello?
Oh yeah, he's speaking
And
in
I
Spanish.
kind of
by the way.
I take some papers and move them over the bizarrely scripted letter.
right. So Gus, you still don't speak Spanish, right?
Yeah, I guess I respond in English.
Kitty, do you?
Yes, I do.
I'll kind of motion like go.
Well, so and where? Okay, so if you're standing in the doorway, as the policemen are, is there just complete open line of sight to the door and the hidden room that we're in?
No, so,
Here's what I do. So how close? If I'm at his desk, how close am I to the opening to the room?
Which
The secret
the
room
secret room.
is what I
so
mean.
the secret room is out of sight of the doorway, which they're walking through, which is the front door of the apartment. But
Oh,
they're
okay.
they're walking forward, and they're like,
Right.
I don't know.
Okay. So Harvey
But they're
nudges
like-
me.
"Who are you?" Like,
Right. Harvey nudges me, and I go walking out. I stride purposefully into the entrance room. I say, "Oh, darling, did you have and I stop mid sentence, and I look over and I say, hello."
all right, okay. They say, "Ma'am, the concierge said some people broke into the apartments against, against."
I said,
security measures."
broke into the building. Are you? Well, we haven't seen anyone. Would one of you stand outside the door and make sure that the intruders don't come in here? In Spanish.
He sort of looks at you. Like he doesn't quite believe you.
You might want
Says, "Can I see some identification, ma'am?"
Well, I mean, I assume I have. I don't know. What would I have? I mean, I don't know that I have a driver's license. I don't know. Passport, is that reasonable?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So I reach in my handbag, and I pull out my passport.
Okay.
What is? Oh well, I don't think I can do that. But I did have another so-called trick.
I wasn't trying to interrupt you. That was the sidebar. That was.
No.
By the way, everybody remember, if you want to spend points, you got.
Right. Well, that's what I was about to do, but I just don't have it in there. Right. So I whip out my passport, and I hand it to the one that I'm speaking to, and using a point of reassurance, if it's logical, I say, officer, I'm
I don't think reassurance is right here. If you're
No?
lying, which you are.
Well, no. All I'm saying is that I'm Kitty Kennedy. I didn't lie about it.
He's reassuring them that he's someone else.
Okay, I don't think that there were. Okay.
Well, you said that he seemed skeptical, but all I said was I haven't seen anybody break into this apartment.
Sure, but you're insinuating that you belong here, which is okay.
I mean, that's fine. I simply don't have any of the. I mean, I don't have anything else that would be relevant here.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
I
He says,
I guess I could use like some kind of credit rating. I don't actually know.
You could. Okay, so he's gonna say, ma'am, is this your apartment?
I say no, of course not, Senor. This apartment belongs to my friend, Mr. John Brooks. But I am here on business with Mr. Brooks from the United States. I'm an actress.
Okay. Where is Mr. Brooks? An actress? Where is Mr. Brooks?
No, I didn't put air quotes because that would be suspicious. I say, well, frankly, officer, I'm not sure where Mr. Brooks is. That's the concern. You see, he asked us to meet him here, but he hasn't shown up, and it's been almost an hour. You don't think that the ruffians who broke into the apartment would have something to do that, do you?
He kind of like looks around. He like looks at the door. He says, "How did you get inside?"
Well, sir, I happen to know that Mr. Brooks does not leave the front door to this apartment open. Locked, because he trusts generously in the security of this building for which he pays so much, and the efficacy of the concierge, who you mentioned was, I suppose, overtaken by some scoundrels.
He kind of shakes his head. He says, this isn't that enough. I'm gonna have to ask you to come down to the station with us."
Well, yes, of course, officer, but will you find Mr. Brooks? If something's happened to him, I should be beside myself.
He says, "Never mind that. Come along with me. We'll get this sorted out."
Why, of course, officer. I'd be happy to take my leave of this place. It is stressing me so that my friend is not here.
He kind of looks around. He says, "Is there anyone else here?" Oh, but he saw Gus already.
Well, right. I know. I was. Well, I'm
Yeah,
saying.
okay.
Yes, of course. Our business associate, Mr. Smith here, but he speaks no Spanish. I'm afraid. He's simply a humble
driver.
Well, yeah. I wanted to come up with a better way to say driver, but yes, he's simply a humble operator of conveyances.
He says, "Okay, well, I'm going to take a look around. You wait here with my partner."
Can I?
All right.
Yeah. So, way back when they first entered, my original question was going to be: could I like subtly close the door?
I say, yes, officer. It would be a wonderful idea for you to search the rest of the apartment and make sure that those intruders
I don't know
have
why
not
Kim
intruded.
ignored or Nick ignored you, Kim. But
Can you guys hear?
Oh, sorry.
Can you hear
No,
Kim?
sorry. I accidentally
okay.
had you muted.
Sorry, I was talking and like nobody seemed to react.
Oh, I apologize.
I was waiting for the.
So originally, way back when these officers first came before Kitty jumped out, I was gonna try to subtly close the door to the secret room.
Okay. All right. Give me a stealth.
That was why I was asking how close I was to it from the desk.
You're not next to it, but let's see. You could swing a toe over maybe.
All right. Well, I guess maybe I can do it while they're distracted dealing with.
Sure.
What's
Yeah.
it is?
Exactly. Give me a stealth roll.
Stealth. I don't have none of that. But I can roll nonetheless.
D6 then. Oh, there you go. All right, yeah. So Harvey and Aaron, or Harvey and Fritz, you guys see Gus swing a toe over and sort of like gently kick the door closed to the whatever
The secret
false
door.
door, the secret door, and you hear it go click.
I get out my sledgehammer.
I will. I'll start looking around for a way out, like
You don't see an exit handle.
Well, you probably don't see anything because it's probably pitch dark in there.
Yeah, it is pitch dark. There's no lights.
Well, I smoke,
4
so
weeks
I'll
later, your desiccated corpses are found.
I'll light a
by
match
Mr.
and
John
and light a
Brooks.
candle.
Okay, so you go,
Yeah.
and a little, you can see very dimly. You can't see any sort of exit latch or anything like that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
So, I mean, we can presumably hear what's going on out in the room, right? It's not like these
Yeah.
walls are soundproofed. So, I'll wait until it clearly sounds like the two of them have gone.
Okay.
With the police. Or I've searched. The police have searched. They've found nothing. They move on, right?
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Well, so, I guess I like shoot Kitty a look as if to say like we can't like leave here.
Nick, you
I thought you were
mute.
just going to
You're
finish
saying
with
we
I shoot
can't
Kitty.
Because I was about to go with this.
Tell the cops solve that murder.
So
Yeah, I was about to leave with this easily flattered and handsome cop out the door, but okay. So
I
wait,
say to Kitty, I
Another
guess
cop
I don't know.
done
I don't know if the
is
cops
the
speak
apartment.
English, but I say
no, they don't.
I'll just tell Kitty like I don't think we should leave. Can't you just get rid of him?
I mean, Fritz is the one with the sledgehammer.
Fritz is currently locked into a closet.
Perhaps get rid of them in such a way that doesn't involve us
Shovels.
becoming like Mexican felons.
Well, we're never going to be Mexican.
Whoa, whoa,
so
whoa!
I think
Jeez, this took a turn.
Okay.
Do any of you have any credit rating you could bribe the cops with?
Yeah, I mean I'm not clear exactly on what credit rating. I thought the credit rating was like to get you people that you had credit with, not just to like generally.
Like, you know,
I
I
don't
think
even
my
have
credit
like
rating is something
recorded. I
too,
think
so
it's
it's
just
not
whatever the standard is for my class.
Is there no deception skill? I thought there was a line.
No, there isn't. That's what's kind of annoying. Is like it's sometimes the book is a little bit broad-reaching on the description of some things. Like I don't know if
Okay.
conceal and disguise and some of the interpersonal stuff are as strict as they.
But do we
sort of
have
sound like
do we
they are.
have any money?
Yeah, you guys
I mean, Janet Winston Rogers gave us all some ridiculous, something like $500 a
So-
week or something like that. To,
Yeah, like tell them that it's very important for us to be here for when Mr. Brooks comes back, and that we would appreciate it if they went and searched the rest of the building and then left, and then give them like $100 or something.
I mean, okay, now I mean not to take too much time, but the idea of starting to bribe the Mexico City police force seems a little extreme.
What?
As opposed to hitting them with a sledgehammer. This is like the
This
least
is the-
extreme
Yeah.
solution.
Well, no, I think the least extreme solution is going with them, but I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure in Mexico this is sort of like tipping in restaurants. This is just like what you do.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
racist, but
Okay. All right. So Kevin,
No,
Not
no,
really
like, that's,
racist.
credit rating something that I can use in that
Please,
way.
it's really
me
corrupt.
going to read the book.
that's just true. And it's not like this is a Mexico thing. This is like lots of places.
Yeah,
This is a thing.
Russia,
Just
like
1934, man.
Ukraine, same thing.
Yeah.
All right. So you said
So-
you were doing what, Nick?
Well, so I'm asking you if, without me going to do the reading and stuff, is that the way that I can use credit rating? I mean,
Yeah,
I-
you can use
I
credit rating that
essentially
way.
use
You
it
can
as
also use
bribing?
bargain that way. That's right.
Okay, because I don't think I have any bargain. No, I have no bargain. And I should have used those points in between cities. Okay, so. All right, so Kitty. So wait, has the first cop finished sweeping the apartment? The
Yeah,
one
yeah.
that-
They're back at the door and they're like, okay, like it's time to go down to our squad car. We're taking you down to the station.
Wink, wink.
Is that
okay, so right. So I flash my best smile and I say, officers.
we're all beginning so promisingly. I shoot Kitty, I flash. Like there's been such good material here, and it always goes where it's not.
We've got to keep our audience on the edge of their seats. Anyway.
All right.
So Kitty flashes her best smile at the officers, and she says, "Listen, gentlemen, listen. I'm really obviously you've searched the apartment. Obviously those intruders are not here. I would of course appreciate you securing our premises, but again, I really actually." I'm very worried about Mr. Brooks, and I don't feel that I can leave the apartment. It was vital to our business that he have me meet him here. Isn't there some way that you could, at least search the rest of the building and give me and my driver here a little more time to wait for him? I'd be certainly happy to make it worth your while. And she then flashes some large bills in U.S. currency.
So you're going to spend a point of credit rating, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know if I have.
He
But sure.
kind of laughs and he says, yes, of course. For a pretty lady, I would always make such an exception. And if you don't mind me saying, but I think your driver might be downstairs right now. He's the man in the car. He's waiting there.
I say, what does the car look like? I have so many different modes of transportation that have been used in this delightful city.
Impressive.
I don't know what kind of cars they would have in 1934.
Well, okay, but let's just say you describe it. Does it match the description of the car of hoodlums that we saw outside of 55?
It does match that description, yes.
It does. Okay.
Well, so
yes.
it matches the first car.
Okay.
So when we were outside 33 Morelos, there was a car that Michael, I forget his character's name, Richard Sterling noticed was like watching you, and then that car left and another car came.
The car full of hooligans.
Right. It doesn't match the car, the description of the car full of hooligans. It matches the description of the first car, the one that had a guy who was watching you.
I say, I doubt that's Mr. Brooks. He's normally driven in a and I describe a different 1934 car. I say there is a possibility actually that it is related to the break-in. However, I suggest you investigate it. I have seen this vehicle before, and they're actually a rival company attempting to spy on Mr. Brooks's business here. And seeing as he is the owner of an apartment in this establishment, any trespassing would probably fall within your jurisdiction, gentlemen. I have absolutely nothing I can use there. Like that's what I don't. I mean, I don't know.
No, that's fine.
I don't know what. For really,
you kind of his eyes kind of glaze over as you start to talk about like businesses and whatever.
They're bad men.
He says, yes, of course. We'll just be out of your hair. Though I suggest if this is not your apartment and Mr. Brooks is not here, you should probably not stay long.
Okay. Jesus, where is it?
Okay, so, he says, anyways, seeing as how your driver's here, perhaps you wouldn't mind leaving so that we can inform the concierge we've secured the premises?
The hell do we pay them to?
Yeah, wait, I didn't they just say that they would be willing to give us a little while to wait for Mr. Brooks?
Oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay, sure. Bye. He says, "All right, well,
I say, gentlemen, responding to their last comment, I say, gentlemen, we will be glad to leave rather soon. I would just like to, at the very least, compose a long, long letter to my friend Mr. Brooks explaining where I am, where he can reach me."
he says, yes, of course, but don't tarry too long. If we get more complaints, then we'll have to return and."
Yes, of course. Thank you. And I usher them out with a dashing smile.
All right, so he turns around and leaves. He stops and talks to his partner for a minute, who seems to make some protests, but then they turn and leave.
Then he gives him 1/3 of the money that I gave them both.
Yeah,
Convinces him to go with him.
He pays them up a little bit, and then they go. All right, so what are the rest of you guys doing?
I'm waiting until I hear the police leave, and then I'm trying to tap
Once
on the
they
door.
leave, I'll open the door.
Okay.
Thank you.
Say,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
we don't have. I don't think we have too much longer, so let's get whatever we need and get out of here before it goes
Harvey and
worse
Fritz
than it already
kissing,
is.
so I guess we'll have to come back to the group.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
take the fire escape.
7 minutes of heaven.
So, real quick, this other letter we found, which was written to Jonathan Brooks, it's signed SS, but when I read it, I thought it was Samson Tremmel, but SS, who is that from? Is that a stupid question?
It's not a stupid
No,
question.
I
We don't know that yet.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's a very good question.
All right. Anyway, so
Yeah, I mean, just off the top of my head, I don't think we know who that is.
because that seemed like sort of a response to all of his angry letters that he had been sending to Tremmel. So, anyway, yeah, we should probably not press our luck with the Polizia.
right.
Yeah, well, the question is how... All right, yes, we safely, all of us, leave the building unnoticed.
Yep.
Next scene.
Well, so you guys climb down the fire escape. As you're outside the building.
Did all four of us climb down the fire escape?
Oh, I thought you wanted to leave unnoticed.
That would be a good idea, actually. I think.
I'm
I mean,
definitely going down
if that's
this
going to work,
fire
sure. I thought...
Well, let's do it.
Sure.
They're probably waiting outside the door of the apartment anyway. So we.
So
can probably
yeah, as you climb down, you see around the side of the building on the street there's a car. There's a small yellow, VW Beetle's not in 1934. I don't know. It's a car.
No.
It's a small yellow car sitting out there, and there's a man sitting. He's got hat.
Okay.
Nothing
Fedora.
else.
He's wearing a fedora, and you can see he's sort of like casually watching the front door.
Is his car?
He's not looking in your direction.
Is his car empty?
Yeah, except for him.
I say we go hit him with a shovel and shoot him.
No. Well, yeah. I was thinking maybe. Oh, Nick just dropped off.
Nick
Well,
did drop off for a second.
So
Kitty fell
apologies.
off the fire escape.
Yeah,
Rep-
yeah. The webcams are going to be messed up for a moment, but
Yeah,
anyway.
I'm sure Nick will get back on.
Yeah. So is there any foot traffic? Are there any people walking on the sidewalk or?
No, there's not a lot. I mean, it's a city, so like it's not there's like nobody around, but
Okay.
it's not like filled with people or anything.
So my thought is maybe one of us just sneak up behind him, maybe with a newspaper, and just sort of get in the passenger seat of his car with a gun and say, "Don't move." The rest of us come up and get in with him, and we just tell him to drive, and we just talk to him.
That seems good to me.
I don't mind doing it. If
What
that's
do you think, Gus? If you
Yeah.
can drag yourself away from your decoding for...
yeah. Just so everyone knows, Gus
Yeah.
is translating the letter we found in the desk above. It's a decoded. It's a what's it called? A
Cipher.
A cipher, yeah.
A cipher. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah. So he's working on deciphering that. There it is.
There you go. Nicely done.
Did you get the whole thing already?
No, he said
He's working on it.
deciphering, and then it helped him remember the word that he had forgotten.
Oh,
Full
fair
circle.
enough.
The circle of life.
fair enough.
Yeah. So Fritz, I don't know. Do you feel comfortable? Are you particularly light on your feet, or do you mind handing me your gun for a moment? Damon's been giving me
yeah.
some lessons.
Sure. Why don't you give it a go? It probably isn't the easiest for me to just swing into a car quickly and all that anymore. So yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Harvey still has that newspaper he swiped when he walked into the lobby. So he is gonna, limber up a bit and do some calisthenics and stretches before he heads over, and then starts walking up, looking as casually as possible. And when he gets to the car, he's gonna pretend to drop something and just kind of glance in the passenger seat window to see if the door is unlocked. You're muted, Kevin.
No, you're muted. Okay. It's unlocked. It is unlocked, yeah.
It is unlocked. Okay, do I need to roll a shadowing or a stealth to avoid notice? I have both.
I'm going to say, I thought there was... No, I think you're all right.
You sound convinced.
I thought I was thinking there might be something, but I don't think anything quite fits. So, yeah, I think you're all right. I think you can do it.
Okay. So in that case, I will. I have my gun sort of tucked under my armpit. I'll pull open the passenger side door, sit in, and pull the gun out, and then with my other hand, sort of reach over, pull the door behind me, and just point at him and say, "Don't move."
Okay, he's got like a newspaper in his folded in his hands. He drops it and his hands go out to the sides and he just freezes.
Okay. I am going to say, okay, I'll tell him, honk the horn once.
All right, he doesn't take his eyes off you. He slowly reaches his hand out and gives it a good 1 second honk.
All right, so I'll kind of smile and say, "There's a good lad," and so I'm assuming you guys will join me.
Yeah.
Where is Nick coming back? Have we heard from him?
Yeah, so he messaged me. He's trying to get back in. He's giving him some issues.
Okay.
Yeah, I might just rearrange.
I'll do it. Yeah. That's
yeah.
That was my move. Okay.
Yeah, you can see he's definitely got a gun of his own, strapped inside his jacket.
Okay.
He's got a fedora and a suit.
He looks good.
Yeah, he's good looking good.
All right. Well, I want the fedora.
Okay.
Here, I'll just disable you for now. Okay. So are you guys? Have you caught up to me yet? Are you in the car?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we'll
they
rush
hop
in
into the
behind
car.
you.
Okay. I'll kind of. Who is sitting behind the driver? Is that Aaron?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say, Aaron, our friend has a gun in his left breast under his jacket. Do you mind removing it? Or Aaron?
Fritz
God,
will remove it.
Fritz. Sorry.
Aaron's got it.
Yep. Aaron's got it.
Oh
No
my god.
problem, man.
All right.
All right, now Nick's back.
There he is.
Gandalf's here. Fly, you fool!
This is Deus Ex Machina to help you solve the mystery.
Everything got ruined again.
Shouldn't have had you change it. Okay, so yeah. So
I'm gone. I don't exist.
I say, gentlemen, I must have fainted from all the excitement. I've just come to. What happened with those dreadful men that were following us?
So real quick, we ducked out of down the fire escape. We saw that car was waiting, and he wasn't paying attention to the direction we were coming from. So I walked up, I snuck up to him, saw his car was unlocked, got in with Fritz's gun, and pointed at him and said not to move. Everyone else joined us, and we're now all sitting in the car with him. We're going to tell him to drive and ask him a couple questions.
And he's still wearing nothing but a fedora?
Yep.
Naked, fedora. Yeah, remember he's the guy that was there the first time we were at Morales Avenue? Yeah, okay.
Yep.
And
Cool.
the cameras are all good, it looks like? Yeah, okay, cool.
all right, back to normal. Okay, yeah. So he so when I say he looks good, he's a little bit disheveled. Maybe he's maybe not the most
Disheveled.
well-kept. Yeah, he's not the most. Not the most disheveled.
Shoveled.
Okay, so I'll sort of
All disheveled people.
I'll flick the gun down the road and say, start driving.
Wait, what? Oh, I got it.
All right, he
Yeah, just throw it away.
I tossed the gun in the direction I want him to drive.
That was my favorite gun. I don't know why.
Follow that pistol.
I got that gun from my grandmother. She was a real tiger.
okay. So he puts one hand on the wheel, one hand on the shifter, and shifts it into drive and starts driving slowly down the road.
Then he
Nice.
puts one hand on his cock.
Jeez.
Wow.
Boom! Away we go.
So, moving right along. So, I'll say. So, why don't we start with your name?
He says, "My name is Ganchi."
Is he
Ganchi.
speaking Spanish? Ganchi?
Yes, he's speaking Spanish.
Okay.
Okay, great.
He looks Mexican.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow! Now we're getting racial up in here.
Drink your wine.
So,
Salud.
He says, "And your name?"
I thought you already knew.
We're all Mr. and Mrs. Sterling.
He gives you a little bit of a disarming smile, and he says, "I don't know shit."
Well, then what do you know?
Uh,
Why don't we start there?
So by the way, I shared his character in the notes on the side there. There's a little portrait of him. If you'd like.
With his disarming smile.
I think he's got a little bit of a disarming
Yeah,
smile.
get a little smirk there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. He says, "Well,
Harvey
I know
drops
you
his
were.
gun.
I know you were, and I know you were poking around, Los Discos,
Is that so?
and I also know you paid a visit to Mr. Cortez."
Well, you know a lot about us.
So yeah, sounds like this guy does know a lot.
Must be
He said
important
he
to
didn't know
someone.
much.
Who might that be?
He says, "Listen, I might talk, but I got to know what your angle is first.
My angle.
What are you doing here? Why you?"
Why should we tell you anything, Mr. Ganchi?
You know, she makes me a
He
lot
says,
of
"Are you
sense.
going to shoot me?"
We could.
No, Kitty. There's something to be said for quid pro quo. Why don't we
Kitty
start?
didn't take a point in Latin.
Why don't we start? It's a saying. You don't need to know Latin to know it. With a show of good faith, Senor Gonchi, why don't you give us something and we'll give you something and we can proceed in that manner.
He says, "All right. How about this?
Yes.
Well, I also all right.
Just because I so desperately want it to mean something, if I can use a point of reassurance on Ganshi to tell him that we will definitely give him his quid pro quo.
Okay.
Quo.
All right. He says this. He says, "All right. I'll tell you this. I don't like working for Mr. Brooks. He scares me, quite frankly. And if you guys know a way out, then I'll be willing to cooperate. Now, what I want is to smoke a goddamn cigarette.
Feel free.
Is that okay?"
I'll pull out one of my cigarettes. Light it and then just pass it over to him while he's driving. I don't want his
All right.
hands reaching into his pocket or anything.
He takes a long drag off it and he says, "American."
I knew that was coming.
Good Savannah tobacco.
Yeah.
He takes another puff off it.
I say,
says-
Mr. Ganchi, we're a little confused. It seems like the man you're saying you're employed by isn't even around these days. Pray, where is he?
Man, Nick is reading my
He says-
mind right now.
He says, "Well, I'm glad of that. He was starting to scare me, something awful. I'm afraid he went to ground a couple weeks ago. Things were getting real hairy just before that. Then, increasingly paranoid. I've talked to him on the phone a few times, I've passed some reports along through Karnalov's lackeys, but that's it."
Kitty puts her, I guess she's in the back seat, and she reaches forward and puts a kindly hand on his shoulder. She says, "Sir, I certainly can tell you're being honest about your fright, and there's nothing that troubles me more than seeing a person distressed. So, to tell truth, we're simply following on the trail of an investigation for a kindly woman on the east coast of the United States who wanted to know about her father's past, and it simply led us here. And
I see.
And if you would care to give us some more information, we could certainly possibly find a way to see getting you out of the employ of Mr. Brooks.
It says, well, I don't know what kind of information you're looking for. I've been working for Brooks for a little while. I don't know that much, but
Those Russian fellows that we saw the other day, who might they be?
well,
They're Karnalov's men, right?
Karnilov. What's his name?
Konolov's goons.
Karnalov.
Konolov?
What's his first
Karnilov.
name?
Konovolov.
Kanavalov?
What's
Karnilov.
what's his first name? Do you know?
No, he says he shakes his head. He says, "Don't know."
Anyone want to bet on how Alex eventually spells Kanavalov?
I think it'll actually just say
Taking bets.
cannoli.
Konovalov. Damn it.
Because on the one hand, we've had like a bunch of pronunciations here, and on the other, it's a Russian name. So I'm thinking maybe.
He might actually. Okay, well,
right.
all right. Final bet. He just puts it in Cyrillic.
That would
make
be
it easy.
best. All right.
Well, I say. Well, first of all, Mr. Ganchi, we can tell you what information we're looking for, but perhaps it should be somewhere a little less public. But one thing that might be of importance is, why are you following us?
He says, "Well, I saw you hanging around the P.O. box. It's my job to watch places like that."
Oh, you saw my performance then?
He took a long drag off his cigarette.
My performance then.
Yes.
And then my next stop was Luz Discos, which you also showed up at. Unfortunately, one of Konolov's men also saw you.
Oh, so Konilov.
Now,
So you're
It's my
implying,
job
sir,
to-
that you weren't following us, but that we just happened to be in the same place at the same time?
well, it's my job to watch over Mr. Brooks's various establishments. The Discos, the P.O. Box, Estudio Mañana, Cortez's house.
I've never thought of a P.O. box as an establishment.
Well,
But yes, okay.
Brooks's penthouse here, and Rosario's apartment as well.
Yes, our next stop. In fact, you should probably take us there, and we can speak more on the matter at that location.
Says, fine. He starts driving.
Nice play.
He takes a right turn. He says, now you tell me. Like I said, what's your end game in all this?
We want to undo the activity of a series of, how shall I put it, religious zealots who seem bound on involving powers that are best left alone.
Why don't we just... I'm sorry.
We found evidence in your Mr. Brooks' apartment that he is one such person, and he seems to be connected with a group of them that we interacted with in Los Angeles. So I believe that we are on the same side in this conflict, assuming that you do indeed want to leave Mr. Brooks' employ behind. I believe our interests are about the same.
He says,
In response to the confused look on the Spanish-speaking Ganchi's face, I say, pay no attention to the gentleman speaking English with the thick German accent. We're looking to clear the good name of Richard Sterling and his book. That's our end game. No, sorry.
Fair
yes,
enough.
Go ahead with your response.
he says, all right, fine. Well, in that case, if we're really on the same side, do you mind lowering the gun?
I say,
Just
go
one more
ahead,
question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll lower it. I'll lower it into my lap. It's still there, but it's not pointed at him. So just one more question. You mentioned that Konovalov. You mentioned Konovalov. He showed up and you had to leave. Are he and Mr. Brooks at odds?
No, not that I know. That Mr. Brooks pays him a lot of money, and that prick will do anything for enough cash.
And so he doesn't know you're under the same employer?
He does, but we don't exactly see eye to eye.
Understood. Any particular reason?
Just rubs me the wrong way. He stamps out his the cigarette butt, which he's finished already, and he motions to put his hand in his pocket. He says, "May I?"
I'll shrug and nod. Yeah.
He pulls out a cigarette case, offers you one.
Yeah, sure, I'll accept.
All right. He sort of one-handed takes out another one and holds it up for you to light.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. I'll light it.
All right. He smokes half of it in one drag. And he says, well, we're close to Rosario's apartment. Is there anything else you wanted to know?
Yeah, I think there's a lot. He needs to come to the apartment with us and talk in private, outside of view of where Konovalov's men might see us.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it'd be wise for you to stay out on the street alone. Perhaps we should continue inside. But in the meantime, is there anyone else that Brooks has asked you to watch? Anyone in particular that he's been keeping an eye on?
Well, like I said, just the P.O. box, Delila's records.
People, individual people over the past 6 months or so.
Just Cortez, really.
Cortez.
I guess Novo before.
Okay.
Before he died.
Gotcha. So you're the author of that note. Gotcha. Okay.
So he says, "No, I don't think so. Not sure what you mean."
I'm looking for it.
I've written a couple of notes in my life.
We had a note that we found in Jonathan Brooks' apartment that said that they were keeping an eye on Cortez and wanted to know whether they should rough him up should any foreigners show up and he speak to them, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's from D.
Well, you could show it to him and ask whether he recognizes it.
Yeah, no, I'll pull it
There's
out.
no, it wasn't me. It must have been one of Konovalov's men.
D, do you recognize that?
stands for Dmitry Karnavalov, I'm telling you.
I don't think
No,
we've said
I
that
don't
name the
recognize
same
it.
way twice.
All right.
So he pulls the car over to the side of the road in front of an apartment building. Or so it's not. Maybe so it's an apartment building. There we go.
Okay.
Also note that street sign, I believe, is in Spanish. It's extremely hard to find pictures of streets in 1934
I don't think you moved us.
that are not in English. What?
I don't think you moved us.
Yeah, we're still in the
I
same
moved
spot.
myself. I'm sorry. You're right.
Yeah, I was like, it's also extremely hard to find the street sign in this picture.
There's no way I can see that street sign.
Well, I'm zooming in.
Anyways,
It's definitely a big blur.
Yeah.
so he says, I can get out, but I'd really rather not be your prisoner.
Well, we did put down the gun, my dear. You said you'd speak to us, and I think it's much safer in private.
We just might have more questions as we find things.
He says, that's fine, but I can't go up to Rosario's apartment with you. If Konolov's men see me, then I'm good as dead.
And why is that, considering that you both work for the same man, ultimately?
Because he'll be associating with outsiders, which is exactly the point. So the question is, what is it that's so pressing that you want to learn from this man, or have we just not come up with questions that we think we might have yet?
I think sorry.
If it's the former, then we should ask him now and get answers that we can. And if it's the latter, then we should arrange to meet with him somewhere else, somewhere down the line, and it will serve as a good test of whether he's sincere.
Good point.
Yeah, just get his contact info.
Okay, yeah. So let's. I'll take his. We'll exchange numbers. We have work to do, but
What is his AOL instant messenger name?
Well,
Tomorrow.
ASL?
Is there
he's
like
got
a,
the lyrics to Wonderwall in his profile.
is there like
Oh, yeah.
a cafe
Oh,
near our
God.
hotel?
What's that?
Is there on his GeoCity page? Does it
Okay, all right.
is
We've lost the entire
Same
stream.
right there.
is there like a
Fire?
cafe near our hotel?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll
So we'll
tomorrow
talk
at noon. Will you meet us at the the cafe, La Cafe?
Sure.
High,
He says,
high
yeah.
noon.
Okay.
Sure, no problem.
All right. We'll see you soon.
All right, he nods. And I guess you guys get out of the car?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Head up to the apartment.
I suppose.
So before we get up
Unless,
there,
I mean, Kitty, if you have any like pressing questions, then go for it.
I mean, I thought he might be able to answer like a ton of things. I mean, I want to know about like
Well, so ask
the
away if you want to
connection
ask a
between
question.
Brooks and Trammell. I want to know about what Brooks
Okay,
has been
well,
up
so,
to for
Nick,
the
if you want to
6
ask
months
questions,
that he's
you
been
can
in
totally
his
ask questions.
employ.
Yeah.
All
Go
right.
ahead. So what's your question?
I want to know if he's. I say, Mr. Ganji, have you had occasion to have dealings with Samson Tremmell?
No, I don't think so.
The name has not come up in your dealings with Mr. Brooks.
I'm not terribly privy to Mr. Brooks's private affairs.
I say, okay, and in the how long did you say you'd been with him? 6 months
That's right, yeah.
or more? I say 6 months. So what were your primary functions for him? What has he been having you do?
He finishes a cigarette and stubs it out, pulls another one as he's lighting it. He says, "Mr. Brooks is I don't know exactly what his line of work is, but not the kind of man who's speaks of competence or whose demeanor speaks of competence. I don't know, whatever it is. I get the feeling he fell into it. He's been growing more and more paranoid."
And when you say that his paranoia, sir, drove him underground, where did he go?
Well, that I don't know. I only send my reports through Konolov's men.
So are you saying that Konovalov probably his
knows
paranoia
where
Brooks is?
I'd imagine so, yeah.
Interesting.
Exactly.
And just if you know, sir, what was going on at the De La Luz record place or whatever it's called?
Recording
What's the
some
name
kind
of
of
it?
album, as far as I can tell. Brooks had some dealings with Cortez, a man named Cortez, and a man named George Novos. Brooks had me investigating Novos for a little while before Novos turned up dead, and I can say I don't think it appears natural.
And beyond that, you know nothing about his demise?
Mr. Novos?
Yes, sir.
Well, he was locked in his studio or his factory as it burned down.
Was that the same building that we found burned down? I mean, I just like tell him that address. Like, is that?
He says, "Yeah,
where
that's
you're
the
talking
place."
about? Okay. Interesting. So he had you investigating him. Do you know what for? What were you reporting to him about Mr. Novos?
He was convinced he was collaborating with his enemies, as he said.
But you don't know who those enemies were.
Not sure. Some sort of rival business or group.
And the same with Cortez, I suppose.
Cortez had some of the same misgivings I'm having now. I'm afraid he tried to break off the business dealings, and I suspect that Mr. Brooks sent around some men to rough him up. As far as I know, he's been locked in his office for the past week.
Mr. Cortez. So that's the guy that we found locked in his office. Okay. And crap, what was I just about to ask him? Do we know, outside of asking him, do we know who Rosario is in reality? Kim?
I don't think so.
We don't know who Rosario is, right? I say, all right. So I say, Mr. Ganchi, we have very little information about Rosario, and we should probably be prepared going in there. What can you tell me about this individual?
He says, "Well, it's Mr. Brooks' fiance, of course."
Oh, so this is Beyonce. I don't remember
Stage
what her name
name
actually
De La
is.
Luz.
Letitia de la Luz.
Okay, right. So that's her. Okay, gotcha. I say, and everything's been fine with her, even while Mr. Brooks is in hiding.
I haven't seen her either.
You haven't seen her, so he had you watching her apartment, but she's presumably.
In fact, I
hiding
haven't
with
seen
him.
her for the last 2 months.
Seen her for the
She
last
used to show up at La Paz, but not
Which
for a
is the
long time. I don't think.
recording place, or
It's a club.
I see. When wasn't she just recording a couple weeks ago, or wasn't the recording stuff going on just a couple weeks ago?
I think it was a couple
Okay.
months ago.
That was a couple months ago.
Let me
Have we
double check.
been to La Paz?
I don't think so.
I don't think we've been to any clubs while we've been here.
Well,
Guys, we gotta take a load off.
Kitty and Gus have definitely gone to a couple of clubs at night, but that's outside the scope of this investigation.
All right, so
Yeah, so I say, Mr. Ganshi, that's been extremely helpful. I do hope that we see you tomorrow at noon, and if there's any way that we can be of help to you in return, please let us know.
he kind of tips his hat and he says, "I'll think it over. Let you know tomorrow."
Kevin, this invoice. What is the proper date for this one again? Is that relevant?
what does it
If it's
say
not
now?
relevant, just say irrelevant. It's an invoice for the additional studio time for Ammonia de los Dioses.
Oh, that's from 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
So
And she would have
December,
presumably been part of that? Is that
October
what we're
15th.
saying?
That's what I'm thinking, or that's what I was led to believe.
Thought, right? Yeah. Okay.
So, anyways, as we once we leave the car,
Yeah.
I'll say I think I managed to figure out this cryptic note
Well done.
from the.
Oof.
What'd you find?
Gus
So
Well, you go.
this is
driving
how it
his
reads.
way to knowledge.
If one could but glance the eternal glory of Golsumal
Goxamal, yeah.
Sorry. For an instant, then one could forever find the path which would lead them hence. Alas, in the beautiful words of her song, one can only see the rock which shields paradise from the unworthy world. Yet if enough were to join in her song, perhaps the voice beyond her own would reveal itself to us. Let us listen and create the conduit. And then who knows what the bottom says.
I say, why, Mr. Allen, that was positively poetic.
I don't know about that, but it certainly seems like they're summoning something.
Certainly sounds like the most important clue I can think of that we've ever forgotten.
Well, it does seem to dovetail with our mountain, right?
Yeah.
So
Indeed.
I think we should see about this Rosario's apartment, but I
Yes.
kind of am beginning to suspect that there won't be anyone there. And then meet up with Gonchi tomorrow and think about planning a trip to Merida.
I hope there's no one there.
Should we? Well,
Yeah,
we should certainly
I
check it out, but
suspect
should
there
we
was
also
already-
check out this place, La Paz?
The nightclub? What time of day is it right now?
It's midday.
So, I mean, we can check out Rosaria. We'll have time to go to the nightclub this evening, and then tomorrow we can meet up with Gonchi.
Sounds good.
I suspect if there's anything to Rosario and this apartment, then it may be important to go to La Paz. But if there's nothing here, it may not be.
All right, so you guys going upstairs?
Yes.
He tells you it's apartment number 18.
No,
That's good,
no
'cause
pesky
we hadn't
concierge.
asked, and it
this
would've-
time.
No
would've been
concierge. This
helpful.
is not nearly as nice a building. It doesn't take you long to get to jimmy the door open. Switch over here. It seems most of the other residents of this apartment building are elderly, but as you step into this apartment, the walls are covered in sort of just wild paintings, animals and forests and whatnot, and all the furniture is quite modern. The scene you see before you is well, it's a little confusing. You're not quite sure. Doesn't look like it's been ransacked, but it's something close. Like maybe someone was packing quickly. But you also notice, So you notice the aftermath of either a hurried packing session, or a robbery or a search. But it doesn't seem like most things are broken.
Okay.
There's
Maybe
still
more like
some
the
jewelry.
actual occupant was looking for something she lost.
It seems like there's a set of jewelry on the nightstand. And there's a record player that's there.
Is it
Any
nice
record?
jewelry?
Sorry?
Is there a record on the record player?
There are no records in the record player, and there are no records in the record cabinet.
Curious.
What's the
Perhaps John Brooks needed his singer, performer, whatever it is he needs to summon the glory of Golsmal. They rushed off to the Yucatan.
You say that like it's a bad thing, Gus.
I would rate it amongst the bad things, yes.
What's the jewelry like?
Well, the jewelry is untouched. All the
I mean,
jewelry
is it
remains
nice jewelry?
Kitty, we're not here to rob the place.
I mean, Kitty takes it.
Can
Okay.
you control yourself?
The answer is no.
I'll start looking through the drawers to see how many articles of clothing have been taken.
Okay. So you find it's hard to tell, but when you open the bedside table, you find two things, and they are in 5A.
You said like there's a bunch of there's a place for records, but all the records are gone, right?
Yeah, there's also so as you're inspecting the place where the records are, you see a couple of smashed photo or picture frames.
You said we were opening 5B?
A.
5A.
Nice try, Kim.
5A.
Oops. Sorry.
My beautiful Rosario, your lips are a gateway opening on ecstasy. To a heaven I visit breathlessly. Your teeth, the towering stalactites. Wow, this guy's a poet. Whose rigid touch feeds my endless appetites. Your face.
I didn't expect this to be so obviously meaningful and disturbing.
Right. Your face turns from me now. Your name lost as you turn your brow. But your new name is graced with light, like stars lightly tossed around the night. If only one wish I might be granted, as my mystic rites are loudly chanted, it would be that your mouth might multiply, so that I might kiss them in an endless lullaby. As an endless lullaby.
We got to kill this guy.
I
And we
mean,
got to skip the shovel. Skip the shovel, straight to the shot, right to the head. That's it.
Fritz, a wordsmith
Also-
like this comes along but once a generation.
There's no meter. There's no meter. There's no meter.
Maybe Harvey
meter.
just read it out with no gusto.
No, I checked. There's no meter. It's just rhyming. Straight to the head. No shovel.
There's also another flyer for La Paz for a Leticia de la Luz.
But Fritz, if we kill him, you need to come up with an awesome closing line. Like, you need to have something ready to go about poetry.
Oh, I got
And
this.
it needs to be so much better than that pun that Thalawir made.
Don't worry. We're going to make his end poetic.
Close. It's got to be better than that. It's got to be
Get
better
out
than
of
that.
this.
All right, everybody roll stability checks.
I'll just
I'm
take
not
the sanity
even
loss.
going to spend
Just-
my points.
Kill myself.
Yeah.
And the god's bidding was done.
So
Watch out,
I hold
weirdo.
up this thing as a. It certainly seems like there's a lot of things here pointing towards this place,
Like,
La Paz.
La Paz.
So I don't want to interrupt you, but as you walk over to them, you guys all hear the crunch of glass under Gus's feet.
Right, so we examine the picture frame thing. Kitty swoops down and looks
You
at
find several picture frames. There's 6 of them in total. The pictures have been removed from all of them, except for one, which contains a picture that is gashed and torn. You can open up 5B.
Oh, Kim was only barely ahead of the game.
I do deep down. I've always known.
And I hope
Search
all of
your
your
feelings,
look the
Kim.
same. There should be a gash across the picture. If there's not, yeah, there we go. That's what yours should look like. If it doesn't look like that, then I may have messed up.
Show it
Any
again.
way
Wow.
to tell who this picture is of? Anybody we know?
Oh yeah, I know that picture. That's a really famous picture, Kevin.
I think it is. Yeah,
It's a really famous picture.
it's like it's like a National Geographic picture, or it looks very similar.
Can't
to
even show it on the screen for copyright.
Yeah, well, no. And stream shut down.
Stream voided.
Banned.
So yeah,
Okay. I have a point of forensics. I'm gonna start looking through the clothes remaining and see if it like is packed in a sensical manner. Like, are there an even number of like shirts and underwear and socks taken, or does it look like everything was haphazardly pulled? Like, is it pretty obvious that there was like a murder cover up here? Is what I'm looking at.
all right. So
somebody
from your point of
packed in a
forensics, you
hurry.
can't tell if there's a murder cover up, but you can tell that it doesn't seem like things were packed in any sort of sensical way.
Okay.
The thing that sort of tips it off for you is that there doesn't seem to be any female products missing. They all seem to be packed away.
All right, so here's my guess. John Brooks came over here and packed on behalf of his missus. Packed.
Yep.
Because they needed to rush off to the mountain of the mall, whatever it is, somewhere on the Yucatan Peninsula, so they can summon what's his face.
Kolzimov or whatever.
Sure.
And what worries
there's
me is
one-
that we're already probably a couple weeks behind. So
Well, there's one thing that worries me about that theory as well, though, which is that it is possible that Ganchi's timeline is accurate and that Rosario has been missing a lot longer than
Right.
Brooks has.
And if you,
I mean, it's possible, right? John Brooks made mention of somebody going ahead, like he's joining the expedition already in
Right.
progress, right?
and if you look at the picture, it looks as though her mouth was gashed open. Like, she doesn't seem particularly safe at this moment.
There's no like markings on this photo, right? Like a date or a name or anything. No.
And this was the only one that was left behind.
Mhm.
Why would he leave this behind? Like, maybe we should go to La Paz and just confirm that the woman in this photograph is De La Luz.
It's a good idea.
Should we just take another glance around the apartment, make sure we didn't miss anything? Does she have a desk or a writing table or answering machine?
No. It's a pretty small apartment.
A mailbox?
I think that's. Oh, her mailbox is empty.
Okay.
It's downstairs, but unimportant. Just have to go to the curriculum. Yeah.
The Kirklands.
Oh no.
The story just sounds so similar.
So shall we hit to La Paz?
I think it's a good idea to go
Yeah,
there.
it's evening starting now.
They
You guys
may
wanna grab a
be
cab and
Yeah,
go to the-
maybe
setting
we
up.
can get there before it gets too busy.
they may be setting up for the evening performance. And in case they're short one performer.
All right. So is that it? You guys are headed over.
Yeah, headed over.
All right. Well.
See, they're setting up for a wedding.
In Florida.
Oh!
Hey!
Oh!
God.
Can the stream hear this?
Party break!
Oh yeah, they can.
Please tell me the stream can hear this.
Of course they can.
All right. So
Wait, I
we
was
walk into La Paz.
Kevin,
Wait,
let it
it's a
sink
party
in.
break.
There's more where that came from. Don't worry about that.
All right.
That is what I'm worried about.
No,
All right. So you walk into La
Definitely
Paz.
the thing I'm the most worried about.
we should just convert this channel into a radio station.
Just like a
And just
merengue
play
classic
banging
station.
tunes from all across.
All 1934's Mexican mariachi all the time.
All right, so you walk into La Paz. It's clearly a nice nightclub. I guess that is set up for a wedding. I didn't think about it like that, but whatever. Fuck it. I don't care.
Maybe
It's
a
like the
Mexican bar
only-
mitzvah.
Nightclub I could find that I thought fit very well.
I don't know what nightclubs look like in the 30s. That seems reasonable.
Sure, yeah. Right, there's a dance floor. There's a
Right,
band.
It's very Casablanca-y.
There's a buffet.
Yeah, sure.
Sure, yeah. All right, so you walk in. You see that there's a band playing in the back. There's some people dancing. It's not quite like crazy yet, but
But we just got
you
here.
know, right. But it's clearly a popular nightclub. There's a bunch of people sitting around at tables and stuff. Yeah.
Any chance that they have like pictures of performers on the walls?
Yeah, so there's flyers everywhere. You see some different flyers for different bands.
Any
One-
featuring Letitia de la Luz?
Yeah, there's some flyers similar to the one you already have. It's advertised for Leticia de la Luz. It doesn't seem like it's very recent though.
Are we assuming Letitia and Rosario, like it's just a stage name, or?
Well, I think he said it was.
Okay,
Ganchi
okay.
said, yeah, he confirmed.
Any flyers with a picture? I know the flyer we have is from like April, so obviously that's a little while back.
Right.
Any of the flyers that like features a picture of her?
No, not really.
You know, we got to find
Right,
out
is
when
it-
her last performance is anyway, so we might be better off talking to someone.
Right. I
Well,
was
I
just
mean,
going to ask if there's
when's
like a
the most recent flyer of her performance from?
We don't have any flyers of her performance, right?
This is there on the walls.
Oh. Right, you said pictures.
You don't. It's hard to see. There's a lot of different flyers. You see that there's a tablet for tonight. It says after this band, Javier Luna and his band is going to go on. And
I guess they used to play with Letitia.
Yeah.
So maybe we can ask this Mr. Luna.
Yeah.
We want to try and get them before their show or after?
Yeah, why don't we get him now?
So, Kitty, as you walk in, you see a man
Yes.
sitting alone at a table reading a book. And as soon as you walk in, he looks up and he's very handsome. He's wearing a tailored suit.
Oh, my.
And as soon as he sees you, he flashes like a big smile at you.
Oh,
And,
I flash a
And a
smile
grin.
right back at him.
He puts a bookmarker in his book and folds it and puts it on the table and waves you over.
Kitty turns to Gus, and she says, "Mr. Allen, would you be so kind? I'm just gonna take a moment to talk to that gentleman there. If the three of you want to go along to see Mr. Luna,
Do you think it's the best idea to split up?
I think that yes."
If nothing else, Miss Kennedy can keep an eye out for what goes on out here. It should be
Yeah,
fine.
Of course.
It shouldn't be long. We'll be back in a jiffy, Miss Kennedy.
Sure.
Don't get
take
into
your
any
time,
trouble.
Chance.
So Harvey's not totally comfortable with that. If we have to go like back doors, he might stay behind just to keep an eye on Kitty. Like she won't know, but like I might grab like Punch, be a wallflower, and just sort of keep an eye on her.
Okay, cool.
And Fritz, I gave you
Be a
your gun back.
wallflower when this music is driving you to dance.
Well, Harvey's not a very good dancer. He's got 3 left feet.
What about the calisthenics?
He's got 3
so
left
ready.
feet.
He didn't. I didn't say he did them well. Yeah, he could tell.
Well, I
he
guess-
was winding up some gears that hadn't been moving in a long time.
All right, so the antiquated antiquarian and the pilot are probably better dancers.
Yes.
So anyway, so as you're going over to this
Gus
guy,
knows how to navigate his.
So
way
yeah,
around.
I guess Fritz and I will look for some entrance to the backstage. See if we can't find Javier Luna.
I like the plan to send the 2 non-Spanish speakers. This is
I thought you took.
Javier Luna is a businessman.
So, anyways,
he probably speaks English.
I can order this. I can put some framework to this. So, the band that's on sort of stops as Kitty's walking over to this guy. The next band sort of rushes out onto stage as the old one sort of cleans up their stuff. This man he takes your hand, Kitty, and he says, "My name is Santiago Altruz. Pleased to meet you." And he gives your hand a kiss. I've shared him in the journal.
Oh, well, let me see. Let me see if this is worthwhile. Oh my gosh! All right.
Ooh.
Kitty says, "Why, Mr. Alcatruz? It's so." Wait, is he speaking English?
Yeah.
Oh, he is. Okay, interesting. She says, "Why, Mr. Alcatruz? It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance." She says, "My name is Kitty Kennedy, and I'm a great admirer of this club. Is it yours?"
He smiles and he says, "No, I'm afraid not. I help book some of the gigs here, but that's about it. This next band is one of my favorites. Would you care to listen?"
Kitty's face falls just ever so slightly when he says no, he's not the owner, but she doesn't really let it show. And she takes a seat next to him and she says, Why certainly, Mr. Alcatruz. What can you tell me about them?
He says, "Well, I can tell you they're about to start."
Kitty laughs heartily at his wit and uses a point of deception to
Oh, baby.
He says, they used to work with a singer, but I think she's left. The band leader's taken over the words, but I think they're quite good still. What do you think?
Kitty listens for a moment. She says, "Why, his voice is simply lovely. I should certainly have liked to hear it done by a woman, though, or perhaps he needs to do it as a duet."
He says, "A wonderful idea. Unfortunately, I think their partnership has been dissolved. Their former contributors. They've certainly been in the money, though."
In the money, you mean they're quite successful?
Yes, well, I've tried to book them. They play here every Saturday. I've tried to book them more than that, but it appears they're quite flush, or busy. I'm not sure.
No, and yet they lost their star female lead. You say that's quite puzzling.
She hasn't been around for several months. Curious.
It is curious. You don't suppose he'd entertain? Well, I don't know, listening to the voice of another woman who might take her place.
You sing.
Why, of course, darling.
He says, "Are you good?"
I say,
Never
why?
mind. I can
Of
tell
course,
you are.
darling.
Well,
Smooth operator.
Me, Marin.
and you can you can sing in Spanish.
Huh.
I
See.
see. You're reading my mind now.
Boom.
He says, "Well, do you want to sing the next song?"
Kitty says, "Sure," and then they fade to black while it happens.
I don't think you have to sing.
That's how that works. In Spanish.
Kitty
like a
uses all
soprano.
of her points in everything to convince you that it was amazing without actually doing it. Yes, Kitty says, "Why, yes, but do you suppose that this gentleman, what's his name?"
Mr. Luna? Ooh.
Yes, do you suppose Mr. Luna would be willing to have his band back me up for that song?
It would be his pleasure, I'm sure, for such a beautiful woman to head his band. And he
Kitty
puts his hand on
blushes.
you.
He does
So
what?
Kitty turns a bright shade of chartreuse. Stop you saying.
Wait, where did he put his hand?
On your hand.
Oh, okay. Your words got swallowed up in the stream. Okay. Kitty does not turn chartreuse. Not this time. She turns slightly pink. Turns. Yeah. Anyway. And she says, "Why, Senor, Mr. Alcatruz, do you have a favorite song you'd like to hear me sing?"
He says, "Yes, Tivoy
The Song of
and
Gold.
Senna."
The old classic.
Yeah, the old classic. I say, why certainly, I'd be happy to oblige. I just can't wait to play with this Mr. Luna.
He says,
I'm curious.
"We're all looking forward to it."
Yes, I'm curious maybe where my companions are, since clearly they're not going to get to Mr. Luna before he goes.
No, they're on stage already.
No, that's what I'm saying. They're not going to get to him, so I don't know.
No, we're on stage too. That's what he means.
They're the backup.
I'm playing bass.
Gus is there, like,
For half a second, I thought that was what
Gus,
he meant.
Gus plays the
Kitty's
trumpet.
just like, Kitty's just found out that she's actually in the middle of like a David Mamet film, and you guys are all the cult, and I've been tracking you the whole time.
she's
this
in the
mess.
cult too. She's been tracking
Figured it
herself.
out.
It's like,
All right, guys, we can call the stream. He got it.
Finished.
6 months, 6 months just to fuck with Nick. Oh my god.
all right, so yeah.
No, but we should totally do that sometime. That should be a project somewhere down the line.
I mean, I am in charge of, well, I don't know, something that seems appropriate to that. All right, anyway.
All right, so Kitty gets up to sing
Yep.
Yes, she
Tivoy
does.
and Senna. I'll leave it on in the background, but afterwards, the band is getting drinks, and they invite you to come along. They say, and Mr. Santiago comes as well. So Santiago orders you all a round of tequila, and he says, my friends, clearly are not from Mexico City."
No, we come here searching for someone actually. We heard you used to play with her.
Oh, well, this guy's not in the band, but he says,
this is Senti. Oh, we're talking to the other guy. Okay, I thought we were talking.
yeah, they're
to
all
the
there.
singer.
They're all there.
Oh, okay. All right. So I'll turn to the lead singer and say, but our friend Mr. Luna, I believe he may know what she's up to.
Says, and who's that?
Rosario. What's her other name? Her stage name?
Letitia.
Letitia de la Luz.
Yes, and Kitty jumps in. She says, "Oh, I did so want to hear her sing. I've heard of her before. Was she with you?"
He says, no. You're asking who?
De Luna.
Javier Luna?
Yeah.
So he's a sort of a skinny, lanky guy, but he's handsome enough. He's as soon as you mention De La Luz, he says, no, we haven't. We haven't played with her for some time.
Hello.
Kitty's disappointed.
How long? Kim asked how long.
He sort of looks nervous, and he says, we're working on a new album, so we haven't really been playing public appearances.
Sir? Is there something you're not telling us? Is everything all right?
Yeah, of course.
Assess honesty.
Yeah, I'll spend a point. If I have one. I think I do.
Okay,
I have one.
he's lying, but he's also really nervous. I mean,
Okay.
maybe you could tell that, but
So I'll spend
Wow,
a
that
point.
wasn't just assess honesty. That was like.
Do I need to spend a point for that, Kevin?
yeah.
All right, great.
Say, Mr. Luna, do you need another drink?
He says, please, yes, please.
All right. Grab the bottle and pour him another one.
All right, he like shoots it back. He
I'll,
says,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm afraid you'll have to wait for the new album. It's gonna change everything, or so I hear.
Or so you hear. Care
says,
to,
yeah, did you,
are you guys going in a new direction?
He Says you'd have to ask Mr. Brooks or Letitia. They seem to have it all sorted
Yeah.
out.
Interesting.
Kitty, so are we just like sitting around a table with the whole band and Mr. Alcatraz
Yeah.
and everything?
Yeah.
Okay, I take out the picture that we found in Rosario's apartment,
Okay.
and I slide it over to Mr. Luna. I say, Mr. Luna, was this the girl? It's hard to tell, but it looks like she was so very beautiful.
He says, yes, that's Rosario. That's her.
I say, well, would you care to keep the picture?
He says, no, that's all right. That's quite all right.
All right, Kitty puts it back in her pocket.
Eska, how long did you, or how long have you been playing with Letitia, Miss Dillaluz?
You can see he's starting to like loosen up. The alcohol's starting to work on him.
Yes.
I keep pouring them every so often.
All right. He says, "Well, we started working at La Paz in back in 30. We met Rosario. De La Luz here, and through her, Mr. Brooks. And then last year, Mr. Brooks hired us to be the backup band for their first album. For our first album.
Kitty says, so Mr. Brooks is who is that? Your employer?
Yes.
He
pays the bills.
Do you think perhaps, not to be too forward, but would Mr. Brooks be willing to audition me to join his employ in the same regard?
He says, no, I don't think he's looking for anything else. Did you want a signature or something? What is it called? Yeah. Autograph?
Say, look, no, well, we're just hoping to meet Mr. Brooks, but it seems we might have missed him.
He sort of like finishes his tequila and says, yeah.
And you're saying that you guys haven't played with Letitia since you finished the album?
Sort of.
I pour him another drink. What do you mean, sort of?
He says, listen, the first record went fine, but after recording that one back in the spring, we started working on another album to follow it up. But we sort of got bogged down creatively, you know?
Yeah, I can imagine. Different direction?
Yeah. They kept saying it was going to change everything. The music. They said that, it was gonna change the world. It was totally new, but it just kept getting weirder and weirder. They're not even lyrics anymore. Just formless jazz with Letitia singing stuff that doesn't even really sound like words, just vowels, and kind of gets to you after a while.
Are you still
These
recording with
guys
them?
aren't insane and speaking in tongues.
No.
Are you saying this is nothing like the first album?
Similar, I guess, but a little further down the road, maybe you might say.
So you haven't recorded with them in some time?
He finishes another tequila and says, listen, after a while, we didn't see Rosario anymore. Brooke started bringing records of her singing for us to play behind. And then a couple weeks ago, he hired us to play with her again, and some guys showed up and blindfolded us and put us in the back of a car. Showed up somewhere weird, and he had us play with Rosario, but we didn't actually get to see her. She was behind a screen, so I'm not really sure.
Okay, well, Kitty like jerks in surprise when he says we got blindfolded and driven somewhere, and she looks like absolutely shocked, and her hand grips Mr. Alcatruz's hand tightly. She says, "My word, that's horrible. You're saying you were kidnapped?"
He says, "Well, we were paid for our time."
That's the best response I've ever heard.
Say, well, you know, you got to do what you got to do. How far away was this? Still in the city?
I don't know. Couldn't have been that far. Listen, I think they probably blindfolded us for a reason. I'm not sure they really want us to talk about it.
You know where we
Just
found
curious.
that picture, don't you?
No, where?
Rosario's apartment. We're not sure she's totally safe. We'd really appreciate your help trying to find her.
You can see he like kind of shudders, and like even the alcohol isn't quite enough, and he kind of like lowers his head. He says, "I'm sure everything's fine. Wouldn't want to get on Mr. Brooks' bad side."
Can you use reassurance to unreassure someone?
Well, that would be intimidation, but you could also use reassurance here.
All right.
What about I was just to say that do you guys by any chance have a copy of your first album?
That's what we found,
that-
I think, in the record store. Right?
Oh, was it? Okay.
Says, "I'm sure we have someone in the car somewhere."
Kitty, well, yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is really reassurance either, but if it is, I'll attempt to apply it. But Kitty says, I don't really wish to alarm you, sir, but to be quite honest, Mr. Brooks is missing as well, and maybe in some danger too. So, to say that your friend Letitia is safe in his care is perhaps up in the air, and something we'd be more than happy to help with. We are so concerned.
He doesn't really seem to hear you. He's sort of staring off into space, and he says, "Kept having these visions. We're playing a track called Granita de la Montana. I remember looking at Letitia, seeing a gash on the side of her face, the side of a mountain. A gash had opened up, and I swear I could see straight down into her stomach." Kind of like shakes his head, and kind of gives like a start. He says, "I think I'm going to be sick. Excuse me for a moment." And he like dashes from the table.
What does? By the way, what does this other guy, Alcatruz?
Mm-hmm.
What does he like?
Yeah.
Does he
That's
react to any of this?
Yeah, so
conversation?
he's just sort of been like sipping his whiskey and sitting there listening quietly.
What does Granito de la Montana mean, by the way?
Maw
It
of the
appears on
mountain.
this flyer, too.
Mouth of the mountain, I think, or Maw of the mountain.
Growl of the mountain.
What is it?
Growl of the mountain.
Growl of the mountain.
What about these other ones? Canción del Cuco and Harmonia de los Dioses?
Harmony of the gods.
Okay. So Canciones del Cuco is the cuckoo's song.
Song of the Cuckoo, yeah.
Harmonia del Dioses is Harmony of the Gods,
And number 4,
which is what?
Caricia de los Labios.
Caress of the Lips.
The lips, you know. So Kitty says,
Seems to be a
my
theme,
God,
guys.
Santiago, are you hearing this? This is awful. What's this man talking about? He saw into her stomach. I'm uncomfortable.
Not sure. I'm so. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm so surprised anymore, Miss Kitty.
And he says, "Perhaps a dance, my sweet."
Who can think about dancing at a time like this?
Yeah, exactly. Wait, unless the music comes back on.
The music does come back on. You don't hear it?
I hear.
Oh no, there it goes. Okay. Kitty's like, well, I suppose, and she like twirls up out of her seat and pulls him by the hand towards the dance floor.
All
I'll
right.
turn to Harvey and Fritz and say, I think we need to get on the trail after Mr. Brooks with some haste. I think
anyone
they're
think-
trying to pull
Does
pull
anyone
off
think
some
you're
kind
right.
of
What are they pulling?
bizarre ritual that might be much worse than what we saw in LA.
Yeah,
Or
I agree.
even if it were just as bad.
Yeah.
So I think we can work tomorrow morning towards making arrangements to go out to Merida and perhaps see a professor to ask whether there's any further information we can get while we're still in some semblance of civilization about our mountain and any myths pursuant to it, and then we can meet up with our friend from this afternoon, Gonchi, one more time, and then try to track down Brooks and Rosario.
And all in
Yeah.
exactly 120 minutes.
Harvey nervously sips his tequila and then sets it down. He's not taking his eyes off of Kitty and what's his name, Santiago?
Santiago.
Yeah.
So you see them dancing closer and closer.
Yep.
All of a sudden, Harvey, you see there's sort of a commotion at the front of the club. Kitty, Santiago is dancing closer and closer. All of a sudden, he grabs you and he leans in for the kiss.
This is while the commotion's going on?
No, you don't know about the commotion.
Oh. Kitty.
You only have a moment. Do you pull away or do you?
No. Kitty allows the kiss.
Oh,
Okay,
God.
just as it's about to happen, a gunshot shoots through the air, and everyone screams and goes for the floor. And we'll leave it there.
Wait, was the kiss good?
You didn't get it.
All right.
Beautifully set up, Kevin. The scene cut to
Nice.
Harvey glancing over
Andrew,
at Kitty,
can
and then
you literally fade to black?
yeah. No, I can't actually.
Okay.
Just imagine
I
it.
wish.
Just imagine it.
Yeah,
Everybody.
Stage for you.
Imagination.
I wish I could.
All
That'd
right.
be awesome.
Well, thanks for playing, guys. That was a
Oh,
really good one.
thank you.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Thank you.
All right. Well, so if you're watching us here on Twitch, then you should check out our YouTube channel. If you're watching on our YouTube channel, you should check out our Twitch channel, Twitch TV.com/SummitKD. Play every Tuesday, 7:30. Anything else, guys?
Be there, be square.
Follow the link. Follow that link.
Follow the links. I don't know what the links are.
It's
Get
to the
follow
bottom of
them.
it.
Yeah, if you click them,
It's a
they will
mystery.
come.
If you click them, you will go. Okay.
It's only just thank you also for running, Kevin. Good stuff.
Oh yeah, thank you. I had a ton
Yeah,
of
that
fun.
was
It was a
sweet.
great session, guys.
That was a good
All right,
one.
and I'll see you guys. I'll see everybody else next week.
Bye.
Take it easy.
Vaya con Dios.
Fritz doesn't speak Spanish.